Right, guys, welcome back to our YouTube video.
In this video, we're going to be explaining how we turn the losing week into a winning week.
But before we do that, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on post notifications.
So let's get straight into it.
Boom.
Right, so how did last week actually start? Well, to begin with, we actually started off by taking 3 losses in a row, and this actually started as a losing streak to start the week. From this, we actually knew the market was going to be difficult. It was going to try and make us make mistakes, try and make us revenge trade, and be filled with all emotions. But however, we actually also managed to miss a lot of opportunities, as well as make some silly mistakes.
So that being said, with risk management and being consistent, we actually banked a 4% trade on the Friday, so the last trading day of the week. And just being consistent and having the correct risk management and, like Ant said, not revenge trading, we actually saw a winning week, even though we made these silly mistakes. So just be consistent, and having risk management can save you in this game. And that, yeah, it's really important to have that.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to run over a trade that we made a mistake on, a trade that we actually missed, and then the trade that actually managed to wipe out all the losses and end the week in profit for us.
So yeah, let's get straight into it.
Okay, guys, so to start with, we're basically just going to talk about Euro USD, a trade that we took last week that ended up being a loss. And it was one of those losses where it did only hit our stop loss by like a pip or so. But looking back over the trade, we potentially could have avoided it. We made potentially a mistake, but it's one of those things where everyone makes mistakes, and you're going to have trades like this where it just hits your stop loss by a couple pips and then continues into profit. And it's the main thing to take away from this is actually how you react to it and how you just move on. And when Ryan talks about NZD-JPY later on, just goes to show how all it takes is one trade, and you'll completely forget about this.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about the analysis, we'll talk about our entry, and then you'll be able to see what actually happened throughout this trade. So to start with Euro USD, you can see we were in this falling wedge pattern. So we're coming down here, we're in this falling wedge, and the sellers are starting to slow down in momentum. And then we saw the buyers step in at the support level with an impulsive move to the upside, breaking a downtrend, creating a new higher high within the market. And then what we predicted was for price to pull back and make an inverse head and shoulders, with this side over here being the left shoulder, this side over here being the head, and over here being the right shoulder. And that's what we was predicting. And as you can see, it did. It has like come into play. It has done what we expected, but unfortunately, the entry and the stop loss was just a little bit out. But in all, the analysis and the direction was right. So these things happen. We can't beat ourselves up about it. But let's talk about the entry. So we used our Fibonacci from swing low to swing high to predict where price was going to pull back to. And we actually took our entry, as you can see, on the rejection of the 50% fib, because not only did it line up with this fib level, but it also lined up with this area of the left shoulder as well. So it lined up perfectly with the left shoulder, the 50%, and obviously come back, we started to see the rejection. So that's where we took our entry. Now, where did we decide to put our stop loss? We decided to put our stop loss below the 61.8%. As you can see, it's not tight to the 61.8%. So we did give it some breathing room. But as you can see, all that price done was to come to this level down here. If I was to drag a area of support here, you can see that this is where buyers clearly stepped into play. So looking at this trade and how we could potentially improve for next time and how we potentially made a mistake is just by not being too tight with our stops and just putting it that extra bit lower below this support level in the market to avoid something like this potentially happening. So that's one way how we could have potentially avoided this. We might have put our stops a little bit too tight. But all in all, it's an unlucky trade. And any other day of the week, it might have just missed our stop loss by a pip. That's the key thing to take away is this stuff does happen. You will make a mistake. We're all human. You can't be perfect. You're always going to make a mistake. But as you can see now, we have moved in the right direction. Some people did manage to profit from this, but unfortunately we didn't. But like we said, it doesn't matter, because in the long run, we still end up on top. But yeah, basically that's it for Euro USD broken down. Ryan, have you got anything to add, or is that basically?
No, that was literally it. Perfect. It was very unlucky, like we said, but these things happens. Next time it's gonna miss our TP by a bit. Do you know what I mean? This is one of the things happen, and we just gotta move on from it.
Yeah, exactly that. Swings and roundabouts, like this one hit our SL by 1 pip. Another trade, which even NJ, like that you're going to talk about later on, we actually put our stops in a good position, and then you know what I mean, it's swings and roundabouts.
Yeah.
You win, you lose, it all comes around. You just got to take it on the chin and move on. So yeah, basically that is Euro USD broken down. Right. So another thing that we want to talk about, a trade we want to talk about, is Euro AED. So the reason we want to talk about this is because this is a trade that we missed. And it's important to understand that in trading, you're not going to catch every trade. You're going to miss trades, but it's just typical how when we're missing good trades and winning trades, it happens on a week where we're in a losing streak. But it just goes to show. So we have a losing streak. We're having a losing streak. We're missing trades. The week isn't going our way at the moment. So we're having losing trades, and we're also missing trades. So we'll talk about the analysis behind this, the reason we missed it, and how it would have been a nice trade. But yeah, the key thing to take away is you're going to miss trades. There's always more opportunities around the corner, but it's always good to journal the trade and understand that you've got the direction right. And yeah, so let's talk about it. So Euro AED, bearish market structure. We're seeing impulses to the downside followed by bearish corrections. So we're having bearish moves followed by corrections to the upside. So we have another one to the downside where we're breaking through the support level in the market, and then we're looking for the pullback for the continuation, which you can see did happen. So like we were saying, it's a very unlucky week. Where would we have taken the entry if we use our Fibonacci and we draw it from swing high to swing low? You can see that we rejected the 61.8% by the pip. That's where we actually would have taken our entry as a sell position. But unfortunately, as you can see, when that happened, it was about midnight here in the UK. So it's out of our trading hours. We only trade during like London and New York sessions because it's good to get some time away from the charts. You don't want to always be on the charts. You want some time away to do other things as well at the end of the day. So yeah, unfortunately, by the time we had woken up, it was all the way down here. So we missed our entry. And yeah, the key thing to take away from this, I don't want to go too much into it, but just the key thing to take away is, yeah, we missed the trade, but these things happen. You will always miss trades and you can't catch them all. It's just unfortunate that that it happened when we're on the losing streak. So the key thing now to talk about is we've had a losing streak. We've also missed good trades. It's very easy for your mindset to go the wrong way now. It's very easy, isn't it, Ryan, to quit, like to call it a week. It's very easy just to give up, start revenge trading, start taking trades that you would trade. And then all you end up doing there is it will just get worse and worse and worse. But what Ryan's going to now talk about is by remaining systematic, by keeping consistent and just not giving up and just sticking to your plan. All it takes is just to catch one trade, a nice trade, and it'll make all your profits, all your losses back and end in profit. So yeah, have you got anything else to say on this?
Yeah, just a thing to add on that one. And you were saying about missing trades and losing trades. With that mindset, you can easily switch off from your trading plan and start doing reckless stuff. And there's a perfect example in Entity JPY, which I'll talk about how easy it was for someone to enter this and would have got stopped out and then price continue direction. And just by not keeping to your plan and not being systematic in that type of way, and yet letting these emotions get to you, you could have potentially lose out on a winning trade, which is so important. Why you need to stay consistent and keep a straight head and not lose yourself just because is a losing streak and trades ain't going your way and you're missing trades. So yeah. I'll talk about that when we run through NJ.
Yeah, so that's Euro USD losing trade. This is Euro AED, a trade we missed. So now we'll talk about Ryan will talk about NZD JPY.
Right, guys, I'm going to be explaining entity JPY, which was our winning trade. So to start off with, we're jumping on the weekly chart, looking at the technicals here. We can see that we have this very well respected downtrend, multiple touches all the way back from 2014. And as you can see here, we've broken out of it. This was in the 9th of November. We can see we have that big push out. So yeah, this is what the weekly chart looks like. Looks also like we're in the falling wedge where price is squeezing down in between here. We can see this lower trend line here, very well respected as well, with massive wick rejection, so a very strong support level. We can also see that we have this inverse head and shoulders with our left shoulder here, our head, and our right shoulder. And then if we zoom in on this right shoulder here, we can see that price actually made a triple top. This is when sellers came here 3 times, 1, 2, 3, and they failed to drive price below this price. So what happened is the buyer stepped in and pushed price up, and we actually broke this downtrend. And that was on the 9th of November there with that bullish engulfing candle on the daily. So now, since we broke out of it, we had a bit of consolidation, and boom, what did we see price do? We've now seen price enter this uptrend, and it's been very well respected. So yeah, overall directional bias of this trade is bullish. If I jump on the 4-hour, what can we see? We can see this beautiful inner trend line with 1 touch here, 2 touch here, and then on our 3rd touch. Now, looking on our 3rd touch, what can we see? We can see this beautiful pin bar. So yeah, it's entitled us, boom, beautiful pin bar. Let's now look for that entry to the upside. So let's jump on the 1 hour. What else can we see? On the 1 hour, we can see this counter trend line here coming back down into our inner trend line. We see these wick rejections here, and boom, what do we see? We see this 1 hour bullish engulfing candle. Once we saw that, we was waiting for the pullback to then look for that buy. So that was all our confidences adding up to this trade. Now, like I was saying about Euro AUD, about jumping into trade and rushing it, there was a beautiful example of this happening, which would have been this one. So as you can see, we've got this morning star here. It'll been so easy for retail traders to enter buy here, stops tight below here and targets in here. And as you can see, they would have been stopped out. So just by sticking to your plan, knowing when to enter, yeah, you save yourself a losing trade here. And so many people would have got caught out with this, so many people. So what our entry was actually, our entry was down here. If I can grab the coordinates, it was, funny enough, exactly that. And the stop loss was 75937. And we was targeting a 1 to 4 back up to this area of resistance. Boom, like so. So yeah, that was exactly our coordinates, exactly when we entered this trade at this position down here. Now, it could have been very, very easy for us to tighten our stops. Very, very easy. Just because we need to try and get that risk reward at, oh, we need to make more in this trade because we had a losing week before prior. However, we didn't think like that. We thought, yes, put our stops in a safe position. We didn't want to have this massive, a tight stop loss to try to get more. That's not the way it should work. You should always be systematic. Even with a losing week, your stop loss should still always be in the right position. So yeah, let's let this play out. Boom. And you can see why. Boom, a big doji wick coming down here, retesting the counter trend line. If we was just to be a bit tight here and wanted to put a stop loss here, we could have got stung so easily and would have had another losing trade. Being systematic, being consistent, and yeah, just sticking to your plan, you can see how it can benefit you here. So how did we manage this trade? Let the trade play on. Boom. So as we got to about 11 p.m., we actually moved our stop loss to break even, making sure that we're protecting our capital and that if price doesn't want to reverse from here, we're not taking another L. So stop loss to break even, and then boom, the rest is history, and price goes and smashes take profit. Boom. And yeah, and that's how we secured a winning trade within our losing week. And yeah, and have you got anything else you want to add to that?
Yeah, so like, I mean, it would have been, some people might say like, oh, it went a lot higher. Do you know what I mean? Like price went a lot higher than it did. So why didn't we bank a lot more? So that's when greed comes into play, and it's important not to be greedy. We pre-planned our target to be there, so we're not going to then just extend it to try be greedy and gain as much percentage as we can. So we need to remain systematic and just just stick to our targets and not just try aim for like a lot more at every trade. You know what I mean? You've got to stick to your plan, stick to what you previously have said, and then yeah, it's a good. I mean, yeah, it's a good trade. I mean, you can even see like it was close to even coming back to break even. I mean, this is just one of those trades where previously we were very we were unlucky as you can see, like the whole week, the whole week we were unlucky. We'd had trades that just hit stop loss by like a pip. We'd missed trades. So it just goes to show that if you just remain systematic, the market will then reward you. As you can see, we could have potentially got stopped out on this one, but by having a safe stop loss, we missed that. And then price almost come back down to stop us at break even. But no, this time round, the market was actually respecting us, respecting our strategy. So it just goes swings and roundabouts. If you just remain consistent, eventually the winning trade will come where the market respects you and you'll be rewarded for your consistency.
Yeah, exactly that. Exactly that. Yeah, spot on. It's spot on. There's nothing more to add to that. So yeah, thanks guys for watching. This was NCD JPY and how we banked 4%. Thanks guys for watching our video. We really hope you took something away from it.
Make sure you follow us on all our social medias. The links will be in the description below. And also, if you want someone to guide you on your Forex journey, we also have like a premium group where we can mentor you and guide you along your journey. That will be in the description below as well.
So yeah, we hope you have a great trading week and see you next time.